Can you weigh in on a couple of other gubernatorial candidates that have been mentioned, specifically State Representative Richard Nelson and also State Senator Sharon Hewitt?
Yeah, again, I mean, I like all these people. I lived in Mandeville for a long time, and that young man came to my door and said he was running for state representative. And I mean, I thought he was in high school. I mean, he is he's like 33. I mean, but he's a bright guy. He's a good conservative, and he seems to want to do it. He had a fundraiser the other day. So, he's a long shot. Sharon Hewitt, I think, is also a long shot, but she said to somebody who recently talked to her that she's running. So, again, she would be the only woman in the race, from what I understand, and I know that she would have a hard time winning re-election to that Senate seat on the North Shore because she was pushing that casino. They voted down that casino by like a 65-35 margin. And I know Scott knows a lot about that. And that, I think, has made Sharon Hewitt think, well, I'm not going to run for re-election to the state Senate. I'll just run for governor. But again, the money situation for these guys like Representative Nelson and Senator Hewitt is going to be difficult when you've got Donald Trump endorsing Jeff Landry, and you're going to have some of these big players that I think are out so early. So they're real long shots. Yes.
Well, then I'll have a follow-up. How susceptible do you believe that Jeff Landry will be to negative attack ads once he would be in a runoff, specifically things like the sexual harassment environment that existed in the Attorney General's office, the employment of the Mexican welders versus, for the Cameron LCG projects versus, local welders, the Freeport-McMoran controversy of the blueprint for that settlement, and there are a couple other things I could itemize, but it's been my belief that Jeff Landry may be the single most easily targetable negative attack ads of any candidate that's been mentioned so far. Do you concur? Do you think?
I think you're right. I think he would be attacked tremendously. Yeah, you're right. But on the other hand, a lot of people admire what he did in fighting back against the Biden administration time and time again. So, there have been a few attorney generals that have fought back. You have Eric Schmidt, who was on the verge of getting elected senator in Missouri. And then you have Jeff Landry. And a lot of times it was Schmidt and Landry going after the Biden administration time and time again. So I understand, you're right. I mean, there'll be a lot of controversies that'll come up, but I think a lot of people will support him. And then if he's got Trump on his side, that's going to help him. So he is obviously formidable, very formidable. But you're right, he could be, there's going to be a lot of money that will be thrown against him, no doubt about it. So that's why Nungesser is thinking about it, because there could be an opening for a more moderate Republican that would then be able to get a lot of Democrat votes. And if you're in a runoff with Jeff Landry and you're Nungesser, you're the favorite. I think. My worry would be that person in the runoff against Landry would be Bill Cassidy. And that would be, in my opinion, a disaster. Because I do not want to see Bill Cassidy elected governor. Yes, sir.